Duc In Altum, in English, set out into the deep. This is the theme Archbishop Francesco Panfilo chose when he was appointed bishop in 2001 by Pope John Paul II. We can also say that this verse is the summary of his ministry. This verse invites us Christians to do three things. First, to remember the past with gratitude. Second, to live the present with enthusiasm. And third, to look forward into the future with confidence. Because Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Archbishop Francesco Panfilo committed himself to this motto. He lived by these words with much dedication that it has become the gist of his life story. And so, we begin his story by remembering the past with gratitude. Francesco was the sixth child born to Roberto Panfilo and Antonia Capitanio in Scilpario, a little village in the Italian Alps in Bergamo province, on the 23rd of November 1942. Francesco belonged to a big family of 10 siblings, with 9 boys and 1 girl. 4 of the boys would become priests, Francesco one of them. He grew up in Vilminore, another village close to Scilpario, where he attended kindergarten, primary school, and technical school. While the young Francesco excelled in everything he did, he has given his very best to sports. With long winters and short summers in Vilminore, the only practicable sports were skiing, cycling, soccer, and running, and he was among the top players in all these disciplines. Francesco has always preferred sports and manual work to studies. Each afternoon after school, Francesco used to join the local blacksmith to learn and capture the secrets of his work. When he was 16 years old, he learned to drive a truck. Francesco also served as a sacristan, taking influence from his grandfather, Luigi. Francesco started his duty every day with the first Mass at 5 o'clock in the morning. He would do anything to avoid having to study. In fact, his teacher visited their house and spoke to his mother about his performance in school. At the time, Francesco expressed his interest in joining the seminary. So, his mother told him that he had to study in order to become a good man or a priest. But he protested and said to his mother, "No more, I do not want to be a priest." But God had another plan for Francesco.
Between the 1950s and 1960s, the Salesians of Don Bosco used to come to Vilminore, to my village, for their summer activities. And of course, it was an attraction for all of us, particularly the boys. We enjoy joining their activities. And I remember that one day I was looking at they were playing football, and I was near the goal, and one Salesian brother approached me, and he asked me, "Would you like to become a Salesian brother?" So there and then I told him, "Do Salesian brothers study?" And he said, "Some yes, some no." So I said, "Well, in that case, I will be a Salesian brother who does not study." And this brother spoke to one of the priests, who was the one who approached my father, telling him that I wanted to become a Salesian brother. And so my father, about after a week or so, he approached me and he told me, "What is this idea of the Salesian brothers?" So I told him it was proposed to me, I would like to try. And then he told me, okay, he advised me to go to speak to a priest in a nearby village. His name was Father Luigi Bombardieri. In the valley, we were considering him a holy priest. And therefore, that's the reason why my father wanted me to talk to him. So I went and I told him, my father told me to come to you for an advice or so, because I would like to become a Salesian brother. And then I still remember he looked at me, and I see still those two eyes looking as if he was reading inside me, and he told me, "Oh, you want to become a Salesian brother because you do not want to study." And that I was shocked, because he could not certainly know, because not even my father knew that I did not want to study. I told only that Salesian brother. And Father Bombardieri told me, if God calls you, He'll give you the will to study. And that's it. The session was finished there. And so as I was walking back, going back to my village, I was thinking. And when I arrived home, my father asked me, "So what?" I told him, "I want to become a priest."
And so, Francesco's religious life began. On October 1958, he entered the Salesian Aspirantate in San Bernardino, Chiari, and on August 16, 1964, he made his profession in the Salesian congregation. Always wanting to become a missionary, Francesco during the novitiate applied for the missions. His assignment was to South Africa.
You have been assigned to the province of England in South Africa.
But circumstances brought him to the Philippines with the help of Father Charles Braga. On the 18th of May 1965, he arrived in the Philippines, where he studied philosophy and had his practical training in Canlubang. He began his theological studies at the University of Santo Tomas in Manila, but he went back to Italy in 1971 to complete his studies. He was ordained a priest on the 27th of April 1974 in the Church of Vilminore di Scalve by Monsignor Clemente Gadi, Bishop of Bergamo. His whole family was present to witness his ordination, but 6 months later, his father passed away. Father Francesco Panfilo returned to the Philippines in July 1974. This is when he began to be deeply rooted in the country. He started out as the spiritual director of Don Bosco Technical Institute in Makati. 3 years later, Father Panfilo was transferred to Don Bosco Technical College in Mandaluyong, where he held the responsibility of rector for 8 years. Truly good in sports, Father Panfilo used his love for sports to bring children closer to God. He taught and played football with the pupils of Don Bosco. In 1985, he became novice master, and in 1987, he became the provincial superior of the Philippine province, which at that time was comprised of 36 communities in the Philippines, 3 communities in Papua New Guinea, 6 communities in East Timor, and 1 community in Jakarta, Indonesia. When his term as provincial ended in 1993, he became the rector of the Don Bosco Seminary in Parañaque, Philippines until 1996. After a year of pastoral work at the parish of the now National Shrine of Mary Help of Christians in Parañaque, Father Panfilo was appointed provincial delegate to Papua New Guinea. The transition and the next chapters of his life would further define his vocation as a priest and as a religious.
So I leave my bones behind, leave them on familiar shore, set my heart upon the deep, follow you.
These lyrics from the song struck Father Panfilo, who was newly assigned as the provincial delegate to Papua New Guinea after spending 32 years in the Philippines. He was feeling terribly bad, and he felt like an old tree that was uprooted, and the whole world was caving in on him. Deeply moved by the song, Father Panfilo said that that moment became the turning point of his acceptance of his new assignment. Father Panfilo, who is not a very emotional man, was deeply moved by the song and had cried. And so, he began his missionary work in Papua New Guinea and embracing it while setting out into the deep. He looked back at his past mission in the Philippines with much gratitude, and he made the best of his mission life in Papua New Guinea. He welcomed the future of new appointments and assignments with trust and confidence in Jesus Christ. In 1999, together with Father Valeriano Barbero, he opened the Don Bosco Technological Institute in Port Moresby. After 4 years, things would come in full circle when Pope John Paul II appointed Father Panfilo as Bishop of Alotau on June 15, 2001. He was ordained a bishop by Bishop Desmond Moore, MSc, his predecessor in Alotau, on the 8th of September 2001. He would choose Duc In Altum, which means set out into the deep, as his Episcopal motto. And his coat of arms would bear a mountain, pine trees, a bear, a sea, a star, and a boat. The mountain, pine trees, and bear represent the valley of Scalve in northern Italy, where he was born and where everything began. The sea represents the Pacific Ocean, where Don Bosco dreamt of a future Salesian missionary field. It also represents the countries where he worked: Philippines, Indonesia, East Timor, and Papua New Guinea. It also symbolizes Milne Bay in Papua New Guinea, a new chapter that opened before him like a vast ocean upon which he shall venture. The star represents Mary, help of Christians, the star of the new evangelization, the radiant dawn, and the sure guide of our steps. In Italian, Panfilo means boat or yacht. In Greek, Panfilo means friend of all. So the boat in his coat of arms represents the personal call to set out into the deep, starting once again from Christ in order to bring his love to everyone. On the 18th of March 2010, Pope Benedict XVI appointed Bishop Panfilo as Coadjutor Archbishop of Rabaul and was officially installed on the 11th of July 2010. On the 11th of August 2011, he took over from Archbishop Karl Hesse, MSc, as Archbishop of Rabaul. All these he took with trust, confidence, and faith in God, which was instilled in him by his parents. In his first pastoral letter, dated October 7, 2011, he wrote, "If I am here as your Archbishop, it is because God has blessed me with good parents and helped me to grow in an environment of prayer, where the most important thing is not money, but the love of God and neighbor. It was through my parents that I learned to appreciate the importance of the Mass, the devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, to Our Lady, and to the saints." Born and raised at the foothills of the Italian Alps, Archbishop Panfilo did not know how to swim. But ironically, he was sent to the mission in countries surrounded by water. All the more, when he was assigned to Papua New Guinea, the communities he served had more water than land. During his years in Papua New Guinea, he traveled the length and breadth of the diocese through fast-flowing streams, climbed steep mountains, and sailed through rough waters to reach his flock in the remote parts of the diocese. He was with his people to celebrate the sacraments with them, listen to their struggles, and respond to their pain, both spiritual and material. He celebrated the sacrament of confirmation in many parishes and outstations, He also ordained a good number of men to the priesthood. Father Ambrose Pereira said, "The people of Alutao and Rabaul call him their shepherd. He immersed himself in the communities and he did everything in his disposal to reach out to the people." The Archbishop, who does not know how to swim, learned to operate a dinghy. He navigated Papua New Guinea's many reefs and he has logged enough mileage in sea travel. Following in the footsteps of Jesus, the Good Shepherd, the Archbishop set out to know his sheep by name. By visiting every parish in his diocese, he went not only to mission stations but also to villages, even to the hamlets where few others have been. He never missed a deanery meeting with parishes held twice a year, as this was an opportunity for him to meet with up to 100 people at a time to discuss various issues. Contact with the people is very important, he says, and no matter the distance, the weather, and the difficulty it entailed, he always went. The pastoral plan for the two dioceses where he exercised his episcopal ministry is expressed in the threefold responsibility of proclaiming the Word of God, celebrating the sacraments, and exercising the ministry of charity. These duties presuppose each other and are inseparable. Aside from guiding his people spiritually, Archbishop Panfilo also went out of his way to address social issues faced by the people of his diocese.
I have been accused of deceit and of abusing my right as a missionary by engaging in sensitive landowner issues. Can a bishop look the other way when injustices are committed? Can a religious worker pretend that these injustices are not happening? To advocate for the vulnerable and powerless, which is the situation of so many people in West Ponto, is a gospel mandate, just as it is to educate the young and care for sick people.
Said the Archbishop, who have for the longest time have helped the people of West Pomio, a part of the Diocese of Rabaul, to fight for their land which was unjustly taken away from them by a foreign logging giant. While the fight against the logging company is still ongoing to this day, the Archbishop left the people with a guide to help them should a similar circumstance present itself again. He wrote a book entitled Just Land Agreements, which details justice and fair treatment of people amid land agreements. Do not give a fish to a hungry person, but teach him how to fish. In 2017, the Archbishop launched the St. John the 23rd Public Housing Project. With the help of volunteers from the Grupo Africa Valdescalve, the project made it possible to build 10 houses. In October of that year, Italian volunteers left from Kokopo, Papua New Guinea, to support the locals in building small houses, equipped with water and toilets. For 2 months, the volunteers helped to build the first 3 houses of the project and assisted the local staff in building the 4th one. In November 2017, the housing project was officially blessed by Archbishop Panfilo and the Apostolic Nuncio of Papua New Guinea. The Grupo Africa Valdescalve actively supported the project by sending equipment, tools, and materials for the village. The project is still ongoing, and to date, almost 40 houses have been built. Archbishop Panfilo also embarked on water projects from 2010 to 2016. This project provided running water to many villages in his diocese. This project is also in cooperation with Grupo Africa Valdescalve. The Archbishop also spearheaded building a school complex in Nutuve, a remote village in the mountains of West Pomio, Papua New Guinea. The school complex gave 200 students a conducive place to study, while the teachers were also provided with living quarters. The Archbishop's project brought together the local community, the Archdiocese of Rabaul, and the Amici della Scuola Apostolica of Albino. It was a project done out of love and charity, and was turned into a reality by unity and cooperation. Having helped a lot of people in Papua New Guinea, Archbishop Panfilo was given the highest honor of chief by the government of Papua New Guinea on the occasion of the 41st independence anniversary on September 25, 2016. The government recognized him for his long service of the care of vocational and technical training of young people and his distinguished leadership role as Archbishop of Rabaul. The title, Grand Companion of Order of Logohu, is the highest order in the honor system of Papua New Guinea. Logohu is the Motuan word for the bird of paradise, the national symbol of Papua New Guinea. After serving the people in Papua New Guinea for 24 years, on June 19, 2020, Pope Francis accepted Archbishop Francesco Panfilo's resignation as the Archbishop of Rabaul. He now serves as the Archbishop Emeritus of Rabaul. Archbishop Francesco Panfilo has spent his life as a missionary ready to serve the flock he was entrusted with. His missionary journey began in the Philippines, where he spent 32 years of his life. He has spent 24 years in Papua New Guinea. April 27, 2024 marks Archbishop Francesco Panfilo's Golden Jubilee of priestly ordination. For 50 years, he reached out to people, knowing each one of them by their names, and brought them closer to God. True to his family name, Panfilo, he truly is a friend to all. Now, he resides in the National Shrine of Mary Help of Christians Parish in Parañaque City, where he continues pastoral work even as a retired archbishop.
Set my heart upon the deep, follow you within thy road. So I leave my boats behind, leave them on familiar shore.